Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. My name is Anna and I'm a macrame artist and teacher. A few months ago, I did this video talking about how I do a macrame project step by step, and one of those steps was sketching the macrame project. And today I thought I would dive deeper into that particular step. A couple of you have mentioned that you would really like to see how I sketch the piece, and so that's what I'm doing today. Now, I just want to mention that sketching the macrame project is by no means a must in the process. It's really just a fun thing for me to do, although it is true that it really helps me to think through the different knots and the different sections, so it is a helpful part of the process. But if you're not into, sketching, drawing, just don't worry about that at all. And with that said, let's jump in. I got out a sketchbook and my Derwent Inktense pencils. And the first thing I did is I sketched the branch that I'm going to use. Now I do have a specific one in mind, and it is pretty straight except for a little smaller branch that's kind of branching out at the end of it. And I know you can't see much now since I'm only doing this with the pencil, but don't worry, later I will add some color to it so you will be able to see it. Now I'm showing you this color chart that I made for the pencils because there are quite a few of them that look very different on the pencil than they actually do once you use a little bit of water on them, which is what you do with these pencils. And I picked the green that I want for the middle portion of the project. You can see that I've got all of the chords out in front of me, so it's the four different ones that you can see. And I'm starting to sketch that first portion. Now, this isn't in any way like a precise technical drawing or something of the project. I'm not drawing a specific amount of knots or chords or anything like that. It's more in my head, I know what that sketch represents. So for example, in this case here, I know that I want to make this section of all these different square knots. And so that's why it's just like a crisscross pattern for all the alternating square knots that I'm going to make here. And I'm drawing at the top the chords which are going over the branch, and then at the bottom just highlighting it a little bit as I want to make a row of double half hitch knots, so that's why I'm highlighting that a little bit more. Underneath that, I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap, so the chords are just going to hang straight for a little space. And then you will see me put in another row of square knots. and then it's just the fringe hanging straight down. I'm then taking the next color, and in this case I really struggled to pick a color because there aren't that many beiges and browns in the more lighter tones that I would need. But anyway, so I went with this a little bit of a darker one, and what I want to do is add these tassels. That's why I left that little bit of space on that green color or green cord. So the square knots underneath are going to hold the tassels in place. What I'm doing now is kind of measuring out the next section, and again I'm only using the pencil, and that's because the next section I want to use that natural cord, so that's kind of the white cord that you see on the table. And there is of course no white in the pencils, and even if there was, I don't think you would be able to see it on the paper, so I'm using just a regular pencil for that. And the idea for this section is that it's going to be like a, regular plain old diamonds from double half hitch knots, or maybe I'll use some other pattern or knots in there, but that's the general idea. So that's what I'm sketching out now. For the next color, they have a pretty good match in one of those pencils. And what I'm doing with that is adding some berry knots in the middle of those diamonds. And I just do this like star shape to indicate a berry knot. That's the rest of the white cords that are going to be hanging down from that braid. And then I want to add maybe like a bigger gathering knot or something in the middle. And just some more white fringe. And the last color in the combo, at first what I thought I would do is again just like a braid that would connect in the middle, but then I thought that that's something that I do all the time, so let's just do something else. And I looked at my collection here behind me, and I saw this wall hanging that I did a couple months ago from that neon pink and green that had like the checkerboard pattern, and that's what inspired me to think of these kind of like strips that are going to hang on the sides, one shorter and one longer, mainly from those terracotta cords, but also you will see later I'm adding in touches of that green. So the idea is that I'm going to do a vertical double half hitch knot. That's how I'm going to create the shapes on these. And maybe they will be less regular than I've drawn them here. You will see that I've definitely made like a symmetrical pattern. Maybe I'll just do like a random, one row of this color, then 2 rows of the next, 3 rows of the other, and so on. But we'll see. I might change my mind when I get to that. And then at the bottom, I'm drawing some fringe, and I realized since all of these cords that I plan to use are 3-ply cords, all of this fringe should be slightly wavy. So you will later see me do a little bit of that on the green in the middle as well, and the natural or white cord on that braid should also have a little bit of a wave to that. So this is the end of my first day of sketching, and on the next day I did the next part of the process, which, because of these pencils are kind of like watercolors, basically you're supposed to put water on them to make the color a lot more intense. And so that's what I was doing here, working with this tiny little brush, always going over that same color, and then kind of putting the water and the residue color on that piece of paper in front of me, and then doing the next section with the next color, and so on. And this is really the fun part of the process. I always enjoy this the most, just to see those colors brighten up. It's really cool how it does that. And here is the final piece. I hope you've enjoyed watching me sketch this, and next time you can look forward to the tutorial on how to make this. That will be it for today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!